Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as assistant professor in Gyanmia School of Pharmacy at GVU Jaipur. Today we discuss our next topic, that is pharmacokinetics of multiple dosing, or we are starting a multi-compartment modeling. In this two compartment mainly we covered. So in this first part is pharmacokinetics of multiple doses, and in this we covered what is a multiple dosing and how it takes place, different parameter regarding this multiple dosing, and why this multiple dosing is important, and different models that involve for this multiple dosing. So it is a topic of biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics subject, 6th semester subject. Before starting this topic, you should know about some learning objects. So in this learning object, these are the learning object. So in learning object, first is the introduction of a multiple doses regimen. Hence the introduction part of multiple doses regimen. What is multiple doses? Including the introduction and description part of multiple doses regimen. If you don't know about what is multiple doses regimen, then you don't understand the remaining continuing topic of this topic. So what is multiple doses? You know about complete information regarding multiple doses regimen. Next is doses regimen and object of a doses regimen. Means what is doses regimen and purpose and object of these doses regimen. We also don't know about this in this lecture. Means doses regimen as well as purpose and object of this doses regimen. Next is a steady state concentration. Steady state concentration is also the one of the part of this multiple dosing. So you should also know about this steady state concentration. Next is loading dose and maintenance dose. What is loading dose and what is maintenance dose, and how you calculate and difference between these loading dose and maintenance dose. So these are the learning object that you should know about this lecture. And this is the topic of multi-compartmental model. In this, you know about all this topic before starting this lecture. So in this multiple dose regimen, object of this dose regimen, loading dose, maintenance dose, steady state concentration, all these topics we covered. So content of this lecture is mainly doses regimen and an introduction part and definition part of doses regimen. Next is objective of a doses regimen, why this doses regimen is important, and object or purpose of this doses regimen. Next is therapeutic drug monitoring, how you control or monitor the therapeutic activity of particular drug or calculate the therapeutic concentration of that particular drug. So therapeutic drug monitoring. Next is multiple doses regimen. What is multiple doses regimen? Definition and introduction part of multiple doses regimen. And then next is multiple dosing with respect to IV. Means you compare these multiple dosing with IV parameter or IV venous. In this multiple dosing with respect to oral route, means you just compare these multiple dose with respect to oral route, or compare the multiple dosing with oral route. Next is concept of loading dose and maintenance dose. What is loading dose? What is maintenance dose? Their concept and difference between these loading and maintenance dose. So all these parameters you should know. Next is drug accumulation, how the drug accumulation takes place in your body, and if drug accumulation takes place in your body, then how it affects or responsible to drug of that particular effect. And the next is reference part of this topic. So these are the content of this lecture. Now first is doses regimen. So in introduction and definition part of the doses regimen, we can say that it is defined as a manner in which drug is taken. Means doses regimen, it is the manner or is a sequence then in which we covered that how much drug you taken and how much frequency you take in that particular drug. And for certain analgesic, hypnotic, antiemetic, etc. These are this type of the drug or example of a drug, mainly we calculate that how the drug is taken and the effect or manner of that particular drug. And in this, a single dose will provide effective treatment. Means one single dose is show some effective treatment or responsible for showing the effective treatment of that particular drug. And but the duration of most illness is longer than therapeutic effect. Means most of the illness is longer, and most of the illness is required for therapeutic effect and produce a single dose. This a single dose is sufficient for producing the sufficient effect or required effect of that particular dose. So in some cases, we consider that that particular illness having a single dose is sufficient for providing or showing the therapeutic effect. And next, in this such cases, drugs are required to be taken as repetitive basis over a period of a time. Means after taking single dose, you can take another dose in a repetitive manner or a particular specific time period, and you should maintain these interval for all over complete doses or for all the doses. So this dose is required to take in a repetitive basis over a period of a time or a particular period of a time. So this drug is required to be taken repetitive basis. So this is a dosage regimen, the definition part of dosage regimen. Next is objective of dosage regimen. Means why this dosage regimen is important and how it play important role for particular dosage regimen. So in this there is one graph. In this overall object of dosage regimen to achieve the target drug concentration at receptor site. Means suppose you are taking a drug for a specific disease, then in this condition your drug is reaches to receptor and bind with receptor and show the effect or specific therapeutic effect. So in this we can say that your drug reaches to a particular site and receptor and get interact and show the effect on the receptor side. This is a one graph that we plot time versus concentration, and we plot the time versus concentration for this dosage regimen. We give one peak or there's one maximum concentration, that is Cmax. So when you're taking the drug, the onset of action that increase and there's one specific maximum concentration is missing. And this is a maximum effect concentration. Now this slowly is at decline, and this is known as duration of action, where the drug start affecting or showing the effect. And this is a Tmax, means maximum time this is required for showing the maximum effect. This maximum effect is known as Cmax. And this is a range that you can say that minimum effect is observed. So this is MAC, that is minimum effective concentration. Or you can say that concentration which show the minimum effect of your drug. And about this, it show the therapeutic response or required desired effect of that particular disease. And after this, that particular point, and this is a maximum therapeutic concentration. About this, there's a toxic effect or unwanted effect are observed. So this one is a maximum therapeutic concentration effect. This is a safe concentration. If you are taking about this MPC, the more toxic or unwanted effect is observed. So your drug should be between this MEC and MPC. So if it crosses, the more desired unwanted effect is produced. And this range is known as therapeutic range. Means between the MEC and MPC range is known as therapeutic range. And the particular time that is required for showing the maximum effect or maximum concentration of a drug is known as duration of action. And this curve or area observed in this curve is known as AUs, that is area under the curve. And in this graph, we are plotting time versus concentration. So this is the object of dosage regimen. According to this, you can calculate how much drug is required for showing minimum effect or maximum effect, or how much drug or concentration is required for a particular therapeutic effect or therapeutic range, and area under the curve or duration of action, Cmax or Tmax. So all these parameter we can calculate with the help of dosage regimen. Next is examine parameter or diagnostic parameter for determining this dosage regimen. So this is a flowchart. In this define therapeutic object. First, to decide that how your drug show the effect or purpose or effect of that therapeutic particular drug. Next is choose drug and dosage regimen. After showing that particular therapeutic effect or selecting your drug for therapeutic purpose, you choose the drug or dosage regimen, means how much drug is sufficient and how much dosage regimen is required for your drug for showing the particular desired effect. Next is evaluate how objective has been achieved. Means after, choosing the dose and regimen, you can evaluate drug or object of purpose of your drug and different stages or different purpose. So in this, evaluate how well objective has been achieved. So in this, we can classify it into four categories, four types. One is modify object. If suppose your drug is requires some modification, then you can modify your object or your parameter. Then if you are modifying object, then it may be defined therapeutic object also. Because we are here changing your object and due to object changing, you also decide the therapeutic object of your response. Next is continue regimen. If you can say that your drug is sufficient or good quality and show the required amount of drug or overall factors are in sufficient manner, then you can say that you continue that particular regimen or particular doses. And if there's a modify or regimen or change the drug, hence any alternative selection or any alternative modification or regimen is required. In this condition, you choose the drug or any other drug which is required for your formulation. So in this, we can say that modify regimen or change of drug is required in this. Next is stop theory. So in this, if you can say that you're not required to show or check that this dosage regimen or drug is not sufficient, then you can also stop the therapy. So in this condition, these are the four criteria according to effect or particular effect. If any changes is required or it is okay, then you can continue regimen. Otherwise, modify your object or modify or change your drug or as well as regimen, or you can also stop the therapy. So this is the examining parameter or diagnostic parameter of that particular multiple dosage. Next is therapeutic drug monitoring. So in this we are consider, or we can see that we control the effect of particular drug, or therapeutic monitoring of a drug is very necessary. So in the success of a drug therapy is highly dependent on, means theory or therapy of a drug is mainly dependent on choice of a drug or drug product, means which type of a drug you are selecting or which type of a drug product you are selecting. Next is design of the dosage regimen, means design and dosage regimen, how you design or how much design regimen or dosage regimen is required for your particular formulation. So you can also select the design of dosage regimen, choice of a drug and drug product. And next is file the choice of a drug and drug product. This one is the second criteria. First is the success of drug therapy, which is highly dependent on choice of a drug as well as drug product as well as design and dosage of regimen. And next is file the choice of a drug and drug product. This is the second monitoring therapeutic activity. So in this choice of a drug and drug product mainly dependent on patient characteristics, pharmacokinetics of the drug, means patient effect, or you consider pharmacokinetics of the drug, ADME of your drug, or particular absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of your drug, as well as patient characteristics, he or she may fit or not, or having any other disease or suffering from any dangerous disease, or these drug is sufficient not. So patient characteristics is also a responsible factor for dosage regimen. Maybe your drug have a sufficient effect, but due to patient characteristics or some factor that is responsible to affect your patient. So don't show the therapeutic or desired effect of your drug. So patient characteristics is also important for choice and drug product. Next is every patient have a different drug absorption, distribution, and elimination. And so we can say that pharmacokinetic parameter of your drug. Excuse me. So we can say that pharmacokinetic of a drug, in this mainly we can say that absorption, distribution, and elimination are different pathophysiological condition. Means the pharmacokinetic parameter or ADME may vary person to person. All person don't have a same effect or don't have a same therapeutic desired effect. It may vary some more or less according to person or that particular person characteristics. So in patient, different absorption, distribution, and elimination, as well as in elimination, we can say that metabolism and excretion both are vary due to patient variation. And pathophysiological condition is also improvement of clinical effectiveness of the drug. In this, we can say that drug monitoring are done. We are controlling our effect of drug, how much drug is observed. So in this, drug monitoring is done, or therapeutic effect of pathophysiological condition is also vary patient to patient. Means pharmacokinetic as well as pathophysiological condition is depend on patient or nature and characteristics of that particular patient. In this continuation, next is it is specialized in measurement of medication level in the blood. Hence, it is also checked that how much medication or how much concentration is required in your blood level or in your blood. And its main focus is to drug which narrow therapeutic range. Means we can say that the main focus of these drugs with narrow therapeutic range is that drug can easily under or overdoses. Means your drug can be in between the under or overdoses condition. And in this, we can calculate that medication level in your blood or therapeutic range, how much drug is required for showing that particular therapeutic effect or your drug. So in this, we are just checking under or overdoses condition or dose of drug, how much dose is sufficient and how much drug dose show the more effect or overdose effect, or how much dose is not show the required therapeutic effect, means underdose the concentration also. And next is therapeutic drug monitoring. There's an important insufficient level of drug in plasma, which led to under treatment of registers. Means therapeutic monitoring is also important for checking these therapeutic concentration of a drug. And this insufficient level of drug in plasma or not sufficient level of the drug in plasma will lead to under treatment of resistance. Now don't show the sufficient effect. It show the resistance or treatment resistance and excessive light toxicity and tissue damage. Means sufficient drug concentration is required for showing the therapeutic effect. If you are not selecting the required amount of a drug, then it's under treatment or desired therapeutic response is not observed. And if you are using excessive amount of a drug, then in this we can say that more toxicity or more tissue damage or more unwanted effect is produced. So in this condition, sufficient amount or sufficient concentration of a drug is very necessary. You can take appropriate amount of concentration, don't take under or overweight dose. Next is indication of PMT include. So in this, there is a narrow therapeutic window. Means therapeutic window is also narrow or less in this condition of PMT, DMT. And next is potential patient compliance problem. There is some problem or patient compliance is also observed when you see this problem. So in this, the potential patient compliance or problem is also observed. And next is drug dose cannot be optimized by clinical observation alone. Means you do not optimize or cannot optimize your drug alone. You are required some study or some testing in a combination. Next is knowledge of a drug influence management. Means some knowledge of a drug is also required or maybe affect or influence your drug concentration or management concentration. Next is sampling analysis of your drug. In this sampling analysis, usually plasma or serum used for drug assay. Means sampling mainly we are done for checking how much drug is present in your body or in the plasma or in the blood or any other part of your body. So this sampling is mainly give the result regarding the dose for how much drug present in your body. So this sampling analysis is mainly performed with the help of assay procedure. So in this assay, we are taking a sample of plasma as well as serum concentration of your drug. And with the help of this plasma and serum concentration of the drug, we can perform the assay of this sample. With the help of assay, we can easily calculate how much drug is present in the sample. Next is assay method should have adequate sensitivity. Means we can also say that these assay method is also of sensitivity or be specific for a drug or metabolism measure have appropriate accuracy and precision. Means when we take the proper precaution or proper sensitivity or adequate specific method of your drug, and in this condition we receive accurate and precise result, or accuracy and precision of result is also good. So you can also take appropriate action for the formulation. Next is automated autoimmune methods like high performance liquid chromatography (HPLC) and gas liquid chromatography, that is GLC, and amidodron peroxide can be used. This is an example of a drug that you can also use for checking your concentration or dosage estimate. So in this, mainly automated method is also available, or you can also use assay method. Assay method is maybe give not accurate or exact result, but these automated results give more precise result or readings. So in this, mainly we can use HPLC and GLC, that is gas liquid chromatography, for testing of your drug. Next is example of a drug that analyzed by therapeutic activity of a drug. So these are the example of a drug that you can check the therapeutic activity or effect of a drug for particular concentration. So in this therapeutic activity of a drug, mainly we can say that cardiac active drug. So in this cardiac active drug is aminodrawn, digoxin, digitoxin, disopyridamide, lignocaine, propanamides, propanol, and quinidine. These are the example of cardiac active drug, or we can say that cardiac effect, or you can say that when he or she may be that particular person suffering from cardiac attack or any cardiac disease, then we can be using this drug. So this is the cardiac active drug. That we can also check the therapeutic effect of a particular drug. So these drugs are mainly used in emergency situations. Next is antibiotics. So in this antibiotics example is gentamicin, amikacin, and tobramycin. So this is an example of antibiotics that you can check the therapeutic effect of particular drug or example of that particular drug. Next is antidepressant. So in this antidepressant example is lithium, tricyclic antidepressant. These are the example of antidepressant that you use for as a suppressing or effect of antidepressant, or we can easily calculate the therapeutic effect of it with the help of some monitoring technique or with the help of certain methods. Next is the function of therapeutic drug monitoring, means how you calculate or control the function of that particular drug or monitoring of that particular therapeutic activity of a drug. So in this first is selection of a drug. Selection of a drug is very important. In this you can select the particular sufficient drug or required drug that is required for showing the effect of particular disease. Means according to disease or problem, you can select the desired adequate drug. So selection of a drug is also important. Next is doses, regimen, and design. Means doses, how much dose is required for designing, or doses regimen. You can also check. Next is evaluation of a patient response after taking that particular doses or that particular drug, how the patient react or how the response is observed to that particular disease or to that particular patient. So this patient response is also check or evaluate. So first is selection of a drug. After selection, you can decide the doses of your regimen. Next, evaluation of effect to that particular patient or patient response. Next is to determine the measuring serum drug concentration. Means you can also check or measure the serum drug concentration or how much drug is present in your serum or in your body. So you can also check the serum drug concentration. Next is monitoring serum drug concentration. After determining the drug present in your serum concentration, you check the drug concentration or monitor the serum drug concentration in your body. Next is assay of the drug concentration in biological fluid. Also, mainly we performed in previous slide, we already discussed that for checking the concentration of a drug, which show the effect on your body, or how much drug present in your body. So assay of the drug is also performed for that particular drug, and how much concentration is present in biological fluid or in your body fluid. Next is pharmacokinetic evaluation of a drug concentration. In pharmacokinetic, mainly we are evaluating ADME parameter, means absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of a drug. So after overall this parameter, you can also calculate or determine the pharmacokinetic effect of a drug, that is ADME, and concentration, how much drug is present for absorption, distribution, or excreted out of your body or elimination procedure. Next is recommendation of a special requirement. And this, if there is some special condition or requirement is required for that particular drug, then you can also suggest for that particular patient. So in this, these are the steps for function or evaluation monitoring of that particular drug. Then this first is selection of a drug. Second is doses estimate. Next is evaluation of patient response. Then to determine the needs for measuring a serum drug concentration. Next is monitoring serum drug concentration. Then assay of drug concentration in biological fluid. Next is pharmacokinetic evaluation of a drug concentration and recommendation of special requirements. Next is multiple doses regimen. So these multiple doses regimen is mainly for multiple drug concentration or multiple dose of a drug. This is the one graph that we already discussed in previous slide that show the maximum concentration or maximum time required for showing the maximum effect, or how the therapeutic response to calculate. It is a between the minimum effective concentration and maximum therapeutic effective concentration. This concentration is known as therapeutic range. Above this, there is toxic or unwanted effect are produced. And this is the duration of action which is required for showing the effect. And this is a time max, that is maximum time is required for showing the effect. And onset of action is this one, and Cmax is maximum concentration of your drug. So in this, when duration of the treatment, this is smaller than therapeutic activity. Single dose is given, that is SP. Single dose is sufficient when we can say that duration of your disease in or effect of your disease is smaller than therapeutic activity. The single dose you can take, or the single dose is sufficient. Next is when the duration of a treatment of a disease is large, then therapeutic effect of drug or multiple doses are given, like antibiotics. Means single dose or multiple doses regimen is mainly depending on the type of disease or which type of effect is required. Suppose you are suffering headache or in normal condition, then single dose is sufficient. That we already discussed in previous slide. That example is aspirin. So in this condition, we are taking aspirin maybe for fever purpose or headache purpose or any other purpose, or act as a local analgesic. So in this condition, single dose is sufficient for that particular disease. But a person suffering from severe problem or some infection, then in this condition, multiple dose is required, like antibiotics. So in this antibiotics, we are taking a repetitive dose at particular interval of time. So in this, when duration of a treatment disease is larger, This is the duration which require for long-term treatment or multiple doses required, and therapeutic effect of your drug is also required for long-time period of period. So in this condition, we can say that multiple doses regimen are preferred, or we are saying that you can select multiple doses. So this is an example of antibiotic. So in this, you are taking multiple dose. First is initial dose, that you are taking a starting dose or first dose. After 6 hours, you are again taking another dose, then 12 hours, then 18 hours, then 24 hours. In this 24 hours, your area under the curve is received, or you can say that maximum concentration of the drug is received. So these 4 doses you are taking, wherefore affecting of your drug or show the maximum desired effect of that particular drug. And in this, we can also plotting a graph. In this, time versus concentration, and time is mainly we are taking in hour, and concentration in mg per liter. And these are the multiple dose. Or in this graph, we can say that 4 doses are selecting. One is after 6 hours, then 12 hours, then 18 hours, and 24 hours. And after in 3 doses, in 4 doses, there's a AUC or maximum concentration is effect, and this is mainly for long therapeutic effect or person who have a long condition problem, then we can take this multiple doses regimen. Next is multiple dosing with respect to oral route. Means we compare the multiple doses regimen with oral route and how we take these multiple doses by oral route. So in this multiple doses with respect to oral route, we can say that oral multiple doses regimen is followed, and plasma will be increased, reach maximum and begin to decline. Means at multiple concentration, or when we are taking the drug from a dosage regimen, follow the plasma concentration which increase at maximum point, and after reaching to maximum point in graph, you already see that at a specific cow, at a specific peak, it got decline. So after reaching at maximum point, it became a start to decline or decrease in the concentration. Next is a second dose will be administered before all of the absorbed drug. Means when complete first dose show the effect will start decline, then in this condition you take another drug concentration or second dose of your drug. Don't take initially, or you can say that rapidly second dose. When your first dose get diminished or start decline, then you can take another drug or second dose. And in this, absorbed drug from first dose is eliminated. Means first drug first dose is show maximum effect and get eliminated off from your body, and that particular dose have a 0 in your body. So then you can take the second drug or second dose of your drug. Consequently, plasma concentration resulting from second dose will be higher than first dose. Means first doses should be small, and after taking the first dose, when you are taking the second dose, the concentration of the second dose should be high compared with the first dose. So in this resulting, we can say that second dose is higher than first dose concentration. Suppose you are taking 300 mg of first dose, then in second dose, maybe you take 400 mg or 500 mg comparatively high to the first dose. Next is in this increase in concentration with dose continue to occur until steady state is reached, at which the rate of entry into your body is equal to rate of exit. Yes, you continually increase this concentration of taking the drug concentration is increased until their body concentration of the drug present in your body, or until the drug concentration is equal to exit of your drug concentration. So according to this, entry and exit both are equal required in this multiple dosing. This is a graph. In this, we can plot time versus plasma drug concentration, and this is a peak or increase in concentration of the drug. We are taking a first dose less, then increase concentration, again increase, and the concentration and peak get repetitively increases. At particular point, Cmax is observed, or you can say that maximum concentration of the drug is produced, which is required for show the required therapeutic effect. So repetitive dose or after multiple dosing, you can receive the Cmax or maximum concentration of the drug. So this is a Cmax, and you can say that in every dose or every peak, this is a single dose, then second dose, then third, fourth, fifth, like this. In every dose, you are just increasing the concentration, and maybe you can say that at a specific point, you can take the constant amount of the concentration. At one point, you can receive the maximum concentration of a drug and show the maximum effect. Next is multiple doses with respect to IG. Means first we compare the with respect to oral route, then we compare the multiple dosing with respect to intravascular injection or IV route. So in this repetitive drug administration, the plasma concentration will be added for each dose interval, giving a plateau or steady state with plasma concentration fluctuating between minimum and maximum. Means we are just comparing the repetitive dose of plasma drug concentration, and in this we are taking the drug in interval, or each dose interval is required to show the plateau and steady state of the plasma concentration. Then steady state or plateau is required for particular plasma drug concentration and fluctuating between minimum and maximum. These concentration will fluctuate between minimum and maximum concentration. Or you can say that you don't receive the steady state or plateau when you don't take the proper dose of the drug by IV route. So there may be fluctuation is also observed in minimum and maximum. Less chances of give the accuracy of the result. This is a plasma drug concentration. In this, we are plotting time versus plasma drug concentration by IV route. So this is a peak that you see by IV route, and this is a Cmax, that the maximum concentration of your drug at particular dose and particular interval of a time. And this is a steady state concentration in minutes, and this area is known as steady state. This is a time versus plasma drug concentration curve. Next is drug accumulation. So in this drug accumulation, when drug is administered at a fixed dose, means your drug is fixed, or you are administering the drug in a fixed amount. At that fixed dose, you can consider a fixed dose interval is the accumulation occur between the drug and previous dose that has been removed. Means we can say that accumulation will be because of previous dose has been removed, or you consider due to the previous dose. So in this, accumulation of the drug depend on dosing interval and elimination half-life. So the accumulation of your drug depend on mainly for dosing interval, how much interval you are taking, 6 hour, 12 hour, 8 hour, or 12 hour. So according to this dosing interval, accumulation of drug or elimination half-life may be vary. It don't give the similar result or constant result, because we are changing the dosing interval or elimination half-life of your drug, and it is the independent of the dose size. Means how much dose size you are selecting. So it is not depending on the dose size. And next is accumulation index. So in this accumulation index, this is the ratio of accumulation index. In this, 1 divided by 1 minus C minus K ET lambda. So this is the accumulation index ratio. In this, delta is the dosing interval, how much dose interval is required. And K is the elimination half-life or elimination constant. Next is in drug accumulation time of our 90% steady state plasma drug concentration, 3.3 times of elimination half-life. So in this 3.3 half-life, we can see that time for 99% of steady state plasma concentration is 6.6 time elimination half-life. And in this one is the graph, which can show the dosing interval required for amount of a drug in your body, how much dosing interval is required for showing the effect of your drug in your body. So this is a peak of your graph, and this graph will show the lower asymptote, that is steady state concentration in minute, and this is a steady state, and this is the upper asymptote steady state concentration, that is maximum. This one is minimum, and this one is maximum steady state concentration. This is the upper asymptote, and this is the lower asymptote, and we are plotting doses interval in R versus amount of a drug in your body. Next is example of drug accumulation. In this, for average adult metabolism, ethanol is 10 gram per hour, and 45 ml of whiskey contain 14 gram of ethanol. And this drink 45 ml of whiskey in every hour will accumulate 4 gram ethanol per hour and develop in coma in 48 hours. Means, according to this accumulation, we are taking example of alcohol. Alcohol, we are taking example of whiskey and how it can accumulate at particular time of it, and you are taking a particular dose interval. Then how much time has show the accumulation, and person comes in a coma. And how people can drink 30 ml whiskey, 9 gram ethanol in every hour. Next is repetitive intravenous injection. In this, after single rapid injection, the reaction gives DV is equals to DOE minus KET. If the delta is a dosing interval, then amount of a drug remaining in the body in several hours get converted into a modified equation of this. dV is equals to DOE minus K delta, and the fraction of a dose remaining in your body is equals to F is equals to dV divided by D0 is equals to K is equals to E minus K delta. Next is problem of a dose. which problem is mainly occur when you are taking a sufficient dose. So this is the equation, plasma drug concentration at time TR and after nth dose. So Cp is equals to DO EKET and 1 minus E and K delta divided by Vd 1 minus E minus KET. This is equation 1, and we can change this concentration contributed by missing dose. Then we receive this equation. Cp is equals to TOE minus K T divided into mass and divided by Vd. This is the second equation modified. So missing dose is equation 1 and 2. Then we receive this third equation. And this Cp is equals to DO 1 minus E and K delta E minus KT minus EK T miss divided by Vd 1 minus E KT. Next is intermediate intravenous infusion. This drug may not reach a steady state. Short IV infusion, elimination period, and another short IV infusion. This is a responsible factor. And after the concentration of one or more IV infusion, equation changes to this. Cp is equals to D 1 minus E minus KET and divided by T in infusion Vd into K. Where D infusion is the rate of infusion and D is the size of infusion dose. T infusion is infusion period and Vd is the volume of distribution and K is the elimination rate constant. And next in the drug concentration post IV infusion is Cp is equals to C stop E minus KET. So the C stop is the concentration when infusion is stopped and T is the time elapsed since infusion is stopped. Next is multiple oral doses regimen. So in this multiple oral doses regimen, we can say that plasma concentration at any time during oral multiple dose regimen is equals to Cp FTD0 divided by PD K minus Ka in bracket 1 minus NKE delta divided by 1 minus E minus Ka delta E minus KET minus 1 minus E NK delta divided by 1 minus E minus K delta into KET, where the N is the number of dose, delta is the dosing interval, and F is the fraction of dose absorbed. For multiple oral dose, C infinity AB is equals to FD into C clarity and delta. C max infinity is equals to FD 0 E KETP divided by VD 1 minus E K delta. There is a concentration in minimum infinity is equals to KAF DOE minus KET delta divided by BD KA minus K. And in another bracket 1 minus E minus KET delta. Next in this maximum concentration and minimum concentration for during multiple doses. So in this condition, we can say that concentration is steady state maximum is equal to C0 divided by 1 minus E minus K delta. C as steady state concentration. Minimum is equal to steady state maximum into KE delta, and ratio of C max divided by C minimum is known as fluctuation, and the greater the ratio, greater the fluctuation. C steady state that is AB is equals to Fx0 divided by clearance total into delta. At the initial first dose introduced with therapeutic is known as remaining or loading dose, that is DO L is equals to CSS AVVD divided by F, and this is a loading dose for one compartment, and this is the second compartment. In one compartment, VD integral to T, P target divided by F, and in for two compartment, VD into beta into D, P target divided by F. Next is object to achieve a desired plasma concentration is quite responsible. Di max is equals to 1.44 T max into TW, while the TW is MSC divided by MEC, and root of administration is M divided by DE is equals to TP target into CI and divided by F. Next is the steady state concentration. So in this steady state concentration, it is another parameter. We can say steady state concentration may be defined as a concentration in which rate of a drug entering body is equal to rate of leaving your body. So that change of drug concentration will be zero. Means how much drug enter is equal to how much drug is enter out. So it is 0 and rate in is equal to rate out. Next is loading dose. So in this extravascular dose required time absorption in the plasma occurs therapeutic effect and delay until sufficient plasma concentration is achieved. Means how much therapeutic effect is observed and it will delay. In loading dose and the reduce the onset of time drug is taken to achieve the minimum effective concentration. A loading primary or initial dose of this given. The main object of a loading dose is achieve desired plasma concentration as quickly as possible. So that the loading dose is one of the series doses that may be given at the onset of therapy. The aim of achieving the target concentration rapidly. And in this, we can see that loading dose is equals to Vt into Tc divided by F. And Vt is equals to volume of distribution, whereas the Tc is equals to target drug concentration. And F is the fluctuation of the dose. And for most of the drug, loading dose can be given as a single dose by tuition dose of administration. And the loading dose is also times large as well as often given apparently and rapidly. Next is concept of loading dose. So in this concept, for a drug with half-lives, the time to reach a steady state might be long. And it takes about 5 lives to reach the steady state, means at least 5 state or 5 doses regimen is required to reach a steady state concentration. And in such cases, the plateau can be achieved by administering a dose that gives that desired steady state, such as initial first dose is called as loading dose, where X0L is equals to CSS, concentration is steady state, ABS into VD divided by F. Where VD is dot nova or the loading dose may be calculated as X0L divided by X0 is equals to 1 divided by 1 minus E minus KET, 1 minus E minus KET. And the above equation is applied when constant absorption is more than elimination, then drug is distributed rapidly. But in case of IV route, absorption is very fast, therefore absorption phase is neglected and the equation is converted into X0L divided by X0 is equals to 1 divided by 1 minus E minus KET in bracket is equals to RAC. Next is maintenance dose. So in this maintenance dose, we can say that after loading dose is given another dose known as maintenance dose. The steady state drug concentration of plateaus as dose in non-maintenance dose. When loading dose, you can say that first dose after maintaining the steady state or particular concentration, you are giving repeating dose. So to maintain the concentration, so this dose is known as maintenance dose, and the maintenance dose is the response of a drug by replacing the drug lost during the dosing interval, and maintenance dose is equals to loading dose, that is 1 minus E minus KT, and loading dose is equals to maintenance dose, that is divided by 1 minus E minus KT. This is the graph for maintenance dose. The ratio of a loading dose to maintenance dose is called as dose ratio, and where T is equals to T half, the dose ratio is 2, and where T is equals to T half, dose ratio is less than 2, and the T is equals to less than T half, then dose ratio is more than 2, just opposite to previous case. And the ratio of a loading dose to maintenance dose, that is X0L divided by X0, is called as dose ratio, and where T is T half, that we already see in graph, is 2, and when in condition less than T half, then it's less than 2, and it's more than T half, then it's more than 2. So after completing this lecture, you should know about these learning learning outcomes of this lecture, which is related with this topic. Introduction regarding the multiple dose. What is multiple dose? Introduction part, doses regimen with the object, purpose of these doses regimen, steady state concentration, loading, as well as maintenance dose. So these are the learning outcomes. Next is reference part. So in reference part, first is Arshil Leon. Fifth edition, published by MC Group, page number 185, 207 to 613 to 625. Next is Gibaldi P. Biopharmaceutics and Clinical Pharmacokinetics, fourth edition, published by PharmaMed Press, page number is 345. Next is Notari Robert E. Biopharmaceutics and Clinical Pharmacokinetics, fourth edition, published by Marshall Decker, page number 351 to 397. Next is a question part which is related to this topic. After completing this lecture, understanding this lecture, you can easily answer this question. In this question 1, what is the dosage regimen? Is the concentration of active agent in the drug formulation? Is the manner in which drug is given in old people? See the manner in which drug is taken, and is the manner in which drug is given to child. Next is what is the optimal dosage regimen? The concentration of active drug in the drug formulation. Next is B, doses from which maintain the plasma concentration within the therapeutic window. This is the manner in which drug is taken, and is the manner in which drug is given to child. In third question, on what versus dose interval is calculated. A, active drug concentration in the formulation. B, half-life of the drug. C is the duration of a disease. D is the age of the patient. In fourth question, what is the fluctuation? Is the Cmax divided by C minimum. Is the Cmax divided by Cmax. So sorry, C minimum divided by maximum, and 1 divided by C minimum. D is C divided 1 divided by C maximum. Next and fifth question, how do you calculate the ideal body weight for the man? In this, A option is 50 kg plus minus 1 kg. divided by 2.5 centimeter above or below 150 centimeter in height. D is a 45 gram plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above or below 150 centimeter in height. C is 40 kg plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above or below 150 centimeter in height. D is 35 kg plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above and below 150 centimeter in height. And in next sixth question, how do you calculate the ideal body weight for women? In this, A is 50 kg plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above and below 150 centimeter in height. B is 45 kg plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above and below 150 centimeter in height. C is 40 kg plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above and below 150 centimeter in height. D is 35 kg plus minus 1 kg divided by 2.5 centimeter above and below 150 centimeter in height. Next and seventh question, which of the following drugs are lipid soluble? A is phenytoin, B is caffeine, C is digoxin, D is antibiotics. Next and eighth question, which of the following drugs get distributed to the same extent in both lung and adipose tissue? And this A option is phenytoin, B is caffeine, D is digoxin, and D is antibiotics. Next in ninth question, which of the following drug can distributed to the excess body space of obese patient? And this A is phenytoin, B is caffeine, C is digoxin, D is antibiotics. Next, in which of the drug that get distributed in excess of body space? So in this phenytoin A, B is caffeine, C is digoxin, D is antibiotics. Only the question gets changed, otherwise drug option is same in all the questions. This is a question related to today's topic. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.